Hello, gamers from around the world. This is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to today's episode of The World of Gaming, your number one podcast, where we talk about everything that happens in the world of gaming. Games, news, technology. We run you through everything that happened in gaming over the course of this week. Before we start, I want to get some housekeeping right out of the way. Of course, you can find this show also on the podcast services around the globe. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you listen to, you can find the World of Gaming there. And if you do listen audio only, it would be awesome of you to consider to give us a 5-star rating because it helps these small podcasts very much. Thank you all for listening. And if you do listen audio only, I would highly recommend to think about checking out this show live because we have an awesome live chat. And I already see a ton of great people in the chat. Welcome to you guys, but a special welcome also to my guest today, the indie gamer. Welcome, my brother. He is, in case you don't know him, he is the host of his indie channel. It's my number one source for all indie news. He has video content there. He has podcasts there. And he's just an awesome guy. And I'm absolutely honored to have you on, my friend.
Flatter me, my friend. Wow, what an honor it is to be on this channel with you. We have had you on my channel a few times. It is always an absolute blast chatting with you. One of my favorite people to chat games with. Absolutely, like I say, a genuine honor to be on to your channel today. This podcast is really doing well for you. And obviously the channel I've been supporting since the start. And I've absolutely loved everything you've done. So like I say, thank you so much. It's been, awesome to be on here with you today, my friend.
Yes, it is. It is. When I started this podcast, I had like a list of 3-4 people that I wanted to get as my first guest, and you were on there. Unfortunately, your work schedule didn't allow it, but I'm glad you took the time in your vacation week to join me here today because, like you said, I've been so many times on your channel, and it's always a blast. So I can't wait to discuss everything with you today.
Thank you so much, buddy. That means a lot. Yeah, like you say, I had to take some vacation to make this happen, but it's worth it for you, my friend.
Awesome stuff, man. Great that you are here. In terms of topic, we have a super filled show. I know people always say, Indy, it's times are crazy. We don't have any news. Nothing is happening. And then when I sit down and write a list of what I want to talk with you in this case about, I don't know whether we will get through all the topics. So we will talk, of course, about indie games. We have to talk about them because not only on Saturday we have a big event coming up. We will get to that in a second, but also you are the most knowledgeable man when it comes to indie games. And so I want to pick your brain about the greatest indie games in 2022. We will talk about that roadmap. We will talk about some exciting Star Wars news. We will talk about advertisement in games. We will talk about God of War. We will talk even more about great reboots coming from Sega. We will talk about Xbox in Japan, and so much more. So I don't want to waste any more of your time and just get started with the talk about the games of the week. All right, man. So we will talk about what we are playing, but before we do that, I want to say a big shout out to a couple of guys, a couple of detectives here in chat. They have recognized that I have a new overlay, for this show. It's nothing groundbreaking new, but a little change in the way it looks. So, guys, let me know in chat if you like it, if you enjoy the new overlay for the world of gaming. I thought I give it a little bit more pop with this look. So. Definitely let me know.
Always tweaking that production value, Mr. Boxenberger. I love it.
I never stop. Honestly, it's like an addiction. Whenever I think, okay, I've got this settled, I start to work on something else to try to improve the channel, the content, the production quality, whatever it is. I don't know.
Beautiful. Yeah, I know. I totally can relate to that. I'm always tweaking. It's a fun part of it, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It is. It is. Yeah, man. What have you been playing? Well, what has kept you busy?
Yeah, to be honest, the game I've been playing probably the most is a game called Ender Lilies, which I've been getting going quite slowly through,
Nice.
essentially. But it's quite a big game. There's a lot to be explored there. So Ender Lilies is a Metroidvania game, and I highly recommend it, especially for people who enjoy that genre. Obviously, if you enjoy Ori, if you enjoy Hollow Knight, everyone knows that's my
Oh,
favorite.
oh yeah.
It didn't take me
Yeah,
very
same
long
here.
to say that word. And I know you love it as well, which is awesome.
Yes.
I'm sure
Yeah.
Judd's in the chat. I've seen my man Judd's the podcast brother
Yeah.
in the chat. He's going to take the mick out of me for saying Hollow Knight already, but I've done it. But yeah, no, Ender Lilies, it's got that Hollow Knight vibe to it. It's got beautiful music in it, you know, the piano style music and all that sort of thing. You can definitely see the
Cool.
influence from Hollow Knight. But yeah, there's some awesome boss battles, amazing exploration, some really cool design actually in the combat, which is slightly different to Hollow Knight. Some of the combat, what you do is you beat the bosses and you'll take on their abilities, and then you are able to harness them and actually use them in combat as well. So, say you beat a particular boss with a particular style of combat, you're able to use that, as I say, in future encounters. You can change up your loadout and stuff like that, and it gives a bit of variety. But yeah, there's a lot going on in Ender Lilies, and I definitely recommend it. It's definitely one of the best Metroidvanias of the last few years. It's becoming. I'm not finished with it yet. It's becoming one of my favorites. Definitely, like I say, Ori
Awesome.
and Hollow Knight, amazing games. So that's
Yeah.
a genre which I particularly love. So yeah, that's what I've been
Same here.
playing the most. Yeah, I
Very
know you do
nice.
too.
I do. Man, I have to download that game.
Yeah, Ender Lilies. It's on all
Is it in Game
platforms.
Pass or is it on
It's
Steam?
No, it's not in Game Pass. I'm playing it
Yeah.
on Steam, but you can get it on Xbox and you can get it on PlayStation and Switch. I think you can get it on all
Okay.
platforms, actually.
Okay,
It's
nice.
definitely well worth your time. It's a beauty.
I love good Metroid. I just bought actually Metroid Dread
Oh, cool. Nice.
for the Switch. Yeah, we are going on vacation next weekend for 1 week,
Awesome.
short spring getaway, and I need to
Fantastic.
play something on my Switch, so I bought Metroid. Yeah. But I've
Awesome.
been
That's going
playing
to
a
be
lot of
great.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland, man. That
Oh,
has
yep.
kept
Yep.
me busy. Yeah.
Nice.
The more I
Looks
play it, the
interesting.
more I like it. I
Yeah.
mean, I always enjoyed the Borderlands games, but this one is particularly fun. It is so over the top, and the game is really not taking itself serious. But I love that. I just came off Elden Ring, and I love now a more lighthearted game and something you
Yep.
can just
Totally.
turn your brain off and have some
Yeah.
looting, shooting fun. It's a good one. It's a good one. But I also downloaded a few indies. Actually, I want to start.
Nice.
There, I've downloaded The Art of Rally.
Oh, sweet. I love that
Yeah, I
game.
haven't played that yet. I want to play Rift Breaker, and I
Oh, yeah.
haven't
Nice.
started Tunic yet. So
Yep.
these three are on my playlist. But I want to finish Tiny Tina's first. So
Yeah, it is a good way to do things, especially with single player games. You finish
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So obviously that's easier said than done because I don't do that. Often I end up just going one to the other because when games are released, Tunic is really great though. I've played a good chunk of that. Really
Nice.
is. There's a lot of hype for that game. It could have easily fallen short of all that hype, couldn't it? But
Yeah.
I think it has got something special. It's got its own way of doing things. It has got Metroidvania elements in that as well. But yeah, the exploration and everything within that game is super cool. It really rewards you for searching out those secrets and everything. And I think that's one of its best parts about it. Really awesome game.
Yeah, can't wait. I have heard nothing but good things about it. But
Yeah.
since, like I said, I've just finished Elden Ring and I didn't want to get in another brutally difficult game, so I thought I throw in something easy, something
Yeah. Yep.
in there before I'm going into the next one. So yeah,
Yep. Totally
can't wait for
understand
that.
that. Awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, man. So, before we move to the news of the week and our main topics, I want to read a couple of super chats that already came in. The first one of the day comes from my good friend Wandering Dutch. He says, "Awesome show and awesome guest. Hashtag indie love." Yeah, man. We know
Beautiful.
you are passionate about indie, Dutch, and we will get to that in a second. I just want to read two other super chats first. They come both from Drawn TJ, and he says, sends in $5. Thank you so much, and says, "Hi Boxenburger, we need to play sometime." Yeah, man, we definitely do. The last time I had to bail out because my kid got sick and vomited all over his bed and toys, and my wife was screaming like, "Come upstairs!" So, but we are doing that hopefully this weekend. I'll hit you up in the DMs, Drawn TJ. And he follows up with another super chat. Thank you so much for that generosity. He says, "There's a new game coming to Xbox called Monarch. It's a Godzilla game. The trailer is out now." I have not seen that one. Have you, Indy?
No, I actually haven't. What was it? So Monarch, did you say? Oh, yes, Monarch. Yeah. No, I haven't.
Interesting.
Godzilla style game. Okay. No, I haven't seen that one actually. No.
Me neither. So, but I'll definitely check it out right after the show. All right. Thank you, guys, for the super chats. Really appreciate the support. But now I want to move over to the main topics of the day, the news and everything else that is happening in game. All right, guys.
Beautiful.
Indeed. Thank you. I knew you would like that.
Yeah, I love it.
Jingles. Yeah. It's so funny. I see. I said I told you that before the show. That I had it happen now a couple of times. My guests don't know what is happening when I press that channel button, and they think because. On our back end here from the podcaster side, the entire screen goes with more or less black with the jingle itself, and your mic gets turned off. And my guests were kind of like refreshing their browser, and that kicks you out of the show. So I'm glad you didn't do that.
I'm still here. I promise.
Fantastic. Man, this Saturday is something special is going to happen. Our good friend, the Wandering Dutch, from the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, has put together a indie showcase. You remember these weird Twitch ID at Xbox streams we had last year. We had one this year.
Yep.
Very long, very weird production format.
Yeah, last year was especially drawn out. This year was tightened up a bit for sure. Still the same format, but still.
Yeah, so the thing. So he actually went out and said, "Man, there has to be a way you can do that better," and he wanted to put together an indie showcase. That's very awesome. And I thought, well, great idea. Do it. Let me know if I can do anything for you. He said, no, nothing. All good. I'll hit you up if I need something. He took care of it single-handedly. And he put together what appears to be, I think, probably the best indie showcase we've had, period. And I'm not just talking about content creators, self-made showcases. I'm talking generally. I know what's coming with that show. He gave me some hard numbers. He's gonna showcase 107 games. Nice. 107 games in 3 hours. There are multiple world premieres and extended gameplay views. He's gonna do 8 giveaways. He's gonna show 3 hours of gameplay, and he has 12 guests coming on. Little spoiler, I'm one of them. And but that isn't what everyone is excited for. He's got a lot of big names in there. Aaron Greenberg from Xbox is gonna appear and make a special appearance, and other fantastic people from the industry, from the content creation scene are coming. There's a long list of great people who contributed to this showcase, and it's just insane what Wandering Dutch has done in terms of production quality and everything. And I can't think of a single event that has happened where just one guy from the content creation scene has achieved to put something together like this. It's gonna air this Saturday. starting 7 p.m. UK time. That's 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Europe time, or 11 a.m. PST. Guys, this is really, really something special. And for this special occasion, Wandering Dutch gave me actually his trailer. And Indy, I want to play that trailer. It is 2 minutes long. I want to play that for everyone to get hyped for this special event. And then we talk about our most anticipated indie games of the year. So let me just briefly change the overlay here so that everyone can see it. Enjoy the trailer for the Community Indie Showcase.
Sweet.
All right. I don't know what I can others say then. This is going to be awesome, indeed. It screams production quality. And again, over 100 games are going to be shown in that during that event, which is in an insane amount. And if you think about that one guy, our good friend Wandering Dutch, put that together single-handedly.
Yeah, that was awesome. I suppose you can play that back one more time without sound, and we can talk over it, or is that not possible? Sorry to be annoying.
Of course that is possible. Let me just remove.
So I saw a lot in there, which was great.
Yeah. There's a lot of. Hang on, I just need to briefly.
Sorry, I've really thrown you there.
No problem.
I'm such a nightmare, aren't I?
Here we go. Just turn the volume off this time. Cool. Let's look at this again. It's gonna be awesome. So again, guys, this Saturday, April 23rd, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. PST, or 8 p.m. Central Europe time. It's going to be awesome. I know that Aaron Greenberg is going to make a guest appearance. There will be other surprises. There will be a lot of giveaways, a lot of unannounced games, unseen gameplay. I can't recommend this more. I highly recommend to check it out because indie. And I want to use that as a segue. To give you the chance to talk also a little bit.
I love it. Indie level round. I have to say, just if I'll just jump in for quickly, I think that's an awesome trailer, Dutch. I think you've done an amazing job, and so many games on there which are on my list of most anticipated games. So you've got a great list of games that you've just put together on there. Looking forward to seeing what you got, as a whole. This is a great trailer and, showcasing so many awesome games, which I'm super looking forward to on this list. Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
So great job, my friend.
Thank you for saying that, because you are absolutely right. And everyone, if you guys want to set your reminders, I highly recommend to click in the description of this show here on YouTube, and you will find the link to this showcase. Hit that reminder button, hit that reminder bell, so you will be you will get notified when this goes live. It is in the description of the show note. And by the way, what is also in the description of the show note is, of course, the link to the Indie Gamers channel. So if you are interested in more indie coverage and want to see someone with an incredible knowledge about indie games and an incredible passion for indie games, I highly recommend to check out the Indie Gamers YouTube channel and, of course, his social. And you can find all the links also in the description.
Thank you, my friend. That's very kind.
Of course. You deserve it. Your channel deserves way more subscribers than it has, man.
Thank you, my friend.
It is something unique. It is a different channel. You're not covering the mainstream AAA games. And I love that, because
thank you.
I think latest after 2021, everyone knows that some of the best gaming experiences can come from indie games. I'm playing one of the games right here, The Gunk, but there have been other fantastic games last year, like Death's Door was amazing. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, awesome game. We had The Ascent. We had The Artful Escape. We had Song of Iron. We had so many fantastic indie games last year. And that's why I'm particularly excited for some of the indie games that will come out this year. But who am I to talk about indie games? I want to hear from you, Indy. Sure. What do you think? What are your most anticipated indie games of this year?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the thing with indie games in general is that we don't get release dates for them until the game is ready, usually. So that means there's a whole list of games on the list of upcoming games that we're looking forward to, because they could potentially get locked in a month before release to have that release date, if you see what I mean. So my list ends up being very long in my spreadsheet form. As sad as it sounds, it is a long list of games. Over 200 wish listed on Steam at the moment, I've got. Oh boy, good lock Lord. Yourself in, buckle up. No, I'm not going to go into all those today, don't you worry. But yeah, no, I mean, I was seeing a lot of common grounds between me and Dutch, and if they are his favorites that he's on his video there, I saw a lot which I've put on my list in preparation to today, actually, including one which I talked about on the last podcast we done a couple of weeks back, where we do a spotlight on an indie game of our choosing of each of the members of the podcast, and one of them I chose was Midnight Fight Express. That game is super cool. Absolutely right up my street. It's kind of a top-down, like, brawler style game. But the key to it is so beautiful and so smooth in its animations. It's kind of got like a Hotline Miami vibes to it, where it's kind of OTT, if like over the top, obviously, and it's like a bit mad, where you can just do crazy moves and stuff like that. But it's all like martial arts, but you can pick up guns and all sorts. But yeah, the key to the animations being so beautiful is that they are all motion captured. So like I say, it's a top-down game, but they are motion captured, so it does look so fluid and beautiful. So Midnight Fight Express is actually one of my most anticipated games, because I mean, there was Sifu, which obviously it has a bit of a similarity to being a fighting game, but this one has a bit more of an arcadey feel to it.
It's more like a 2.5D.
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah, it's like almost like isometric 2.5D. It's got depth to it and stuff. But yeah, it's a super cool game. I saw that in the Dutch's trailer as well, actually. But yeah, I love that game, and that's being made by just one developer. Don't know if you knew that either.
I didn't know that.
Mind blowing. Yeah.
Crazy. Think about some of these solo developers, what they have achieved with some games. It's insane.
It really is mind-boggling. Yeah, I've watched a few videos on the making of that game, and basically all motion capture, just guys going, hell for leather in their motion capture suits, doing the most badass sort of martial arts moves there is. I'm a big fan of martial arts in general, so it's really cool to see, and it's just incorporated into this top-down game, which I think just really sets it off. But it looks like a blast to play, and the kind of set pieces are awesome in it. But yeah, I highly recommend checking that out, guys. I think that one's actually confirmed to be coming to Game Pass as well. I'm sure that will make a lot of your viewers happy, as you've got quite a lot of Xbox fans, I believe, in the house. So
I don't know. Are there any Xbox fans in the house? Every Xbox fan, press 1 in chat, please.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, it's coming to all platforms actually, which is the great thing too. So it might even be PC Game Pass as well. It's definitely coming to Steam, PS4, I think it says in the trailer for some reason, but and also Switch. But yeah, look up Midnight Fight Express, guys. It's looking great. It's supposed to be coming this summer, so that's actually a window. But yeah, that's looking awesome. Did you want to talk about any games, or did you want me to just keep pouring out?
No, we could take turns.
Turns sounds good.
Okay. Well, one of my most anticipated games actually just got announced a few weeks ago, and that is Deliver Us Mars.
Oh yes,
the sequel to Deliver Us the Moon from Keoken.
That's it.
I love that game. I love Deliver Us Moon. It was you were put on the moon and a space station, and you had that feeling of loneliness on the moon, and there was basically it was a riddle game, a story-driven riddle game, and but there was a unique atmosphere to it, and from what they have shown, the first trailer from the Deliver Us Mars, it just looks amazing, and I can't wait to play it. I want to have that same atmosphere again, where you just feel that loneliness in space. It was fantastic.
Yeah, most definitely. I've thought of you when I saw that announced, because I remember you talking about that game when it actually came out onto Game Pass. I remember you saying how much you loved it. I think you did one of your Twitter posts and sort of,
I actually did a video review as well for.
Oh, was it a video review as well?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I probably watched that as well, because that was definitely a time when I was soaking up tons of your content. Obviously, I still do. But, the podcasts, I wish I could watch them live. I do watch them after, of course, as we discussed. But I definitely remember you loving that game. So it's awesome to see it has a sequel coming. Do you think they will develop it any more? Do you think they'll keep it the same with a new story, or do you think they'll develop any combat or anything into the game?
I'm not sure if they do add combat to it. I could see them refine a few mechanics for the riddles, because sometimes it was a little, I don't want to say clunky, but in a riddle game, it is important that the environment gives you some hints in how to solve them, and I think that was something where they could improve, but they have great ambitions for that game. The way they talked about it, it's gonna be on another level. I can't wait to see it.
Nice. Awesome. That is fantastic.
What else are you anticipating this year?
Ooh, so many. So probably I'd have to say the next one will be Planet of Lana. Would probably be one that's right up there, really high. I mean, that game just looks stunning. That hand-drawn art style. It's basically, I like to think of it as like Inside. The game Inside, obviously, that one of the most amazing games ever made, basically. One
of the most weird endings ever.
That's true. That's true. Likes to leave it in your own thought process, so you can go and have a think about it after, for sure. But it's Planet of Lana. I think it's got that same sort of vibe to it. The trailers have been stunning. Well, also I was going to say, to add to that, it's not the same sort of desaturated look. It's very much a more vibrant look than it is for than Inside. Planet of Lana, very stunning, kind of hand-drawn, sort of like textured kind of look, I would say. which really looks stunning. But yeah, I think you've got the main character. I think that's the girl, and then you've got the little animal with you, which looks interesting. I wonder if that's going to play into combat. But yeah, just those kind of games, they always seem so beautiful. The music is so stunning in the trailers. Both of the trailers have been amazing. I don't know if you saw the second trailer where it's like a sandy and you're riding like this robot
I've seen
thing.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Ring some
really.
bells.
That blew my mind a little bit, actually, because that was like, okay, now they are really taking this up a notch. Planet of Lana, yeah, I think that's going to be a real big hit.
Yeah.
Like when it comes out, I think it's going to blow people's minds, essentially. Can't wait for that one.
That's a good one. That's a good pick. That's a great pick, actually.
Yeah.
And I want to read, before I talk about another one I'm looking forward to, I want to read a few super chats that came in. And while I do that, I would highly encourage everyone in chat to type in their most anticipated indie games. I also want to hear from the community what they are looking forward to. So there's another, hang on, where is it? There it is. One from Drawn TJ. He says, sorry guys, made a mistake. It's not a new game. It's a new mode for Warzone. You're talking about the Godzilla game. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. And he follows up with another generous super chat, man. Can't thank you enough, brother. He says, I got a question. What happened to Midnight Suns? That is a good question. I don't have an answer to it. Do you?
Midnight Suns. No, I don't have an answer, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry.
If anyone in chat knows, please let Drone TJ and the rest of us know. And the next one is also coming from Drone TJ. I can't wait for Test Drive Unlimited Solar Ground and Forza Motorsport and Starfield. Yeah, man, those are the big AAA games that are coming this year. No doubt, Starfield is on the top of my list, and I can't wait to see Forza Motorsport in action with the new engine. Definitely excited for that. Yeah. And another one comes in from Thanaros. He sends in $5. Thank you so much, brother. He says, if former AAA devs make a smaller game, would it be considered an indie? What is the definition of an indie game?
Love it.
I love that question. Fantastic. Go ahead, Indy, please.
I don't want to just. Okay, I think Thanaros is a great community member. Always great to see you, my friend. So yeah, I think if a AAA dev goes indie, or they decide to make a game on a smaller scale, I think that can definitely be determined as indie. As you know, they're taking away investors and things like that. They're doing it all themselves. If they're doing it on the site, say they've got a team of let's say The Ascent. That's a good example because they used to be AAA developers. They made Doom. They made loads of big games basically. And they went solo for 12. I think it was 12 people, part of the team, the Neon Giant team. So yeah, I would consider that to be them going independent because they've taken themselves out of the equation of the big teams and the big funding that comes in, the investors, where they have these tight times constraints to get a game out on time, to please people who want their return on investment and all that sort of stuff. So I think like when it's all in their hands and it's a small team and like they're doing it independently, so they have the destiny in their own hands. I do believe that is when that can still be an indie game, despite how much experience they have. I actually interviewed. Sorry, I'll just quickly finish it off. I actually interviewed a developer who used to work on many big AAA games on my channel, actually, and he's now working on A New the Distant Light, which is a really cool Metroidvania. He's working in a team of 3 people, but they've had a big, long career in AAA, but now they're doing independent. I definitely would see that as an indie game for sure. That's my take on it, anyway. Is Boxenberger muted by any chance?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. I drank something. I didn't want to hear everyone hears the sound.
I must have talked for so long. I've muted.
Sorry. No, you bring up a great point, a fantastic definition for an indie game. And I talked to, for instance, Joe from Song of Iron.
Yeah,
he is
exactly.
a solo developer who used to work on Halo Infinite. Yeah, he was an animator in that game. That's a great definition you just brought there up. Because in theory, studios like Bungie were independent to some, and then indie
Yeah.
developer to some degree before they were acquired from Sony, obviously. But
Sure.
I think that the definition for an indie game is that you make yourself free of that big publisher, those investors, and just make the game you actually want. And I think that is the charm also from those indie games. You can really tell that they try to do something that a big AAA developer simply cannot do. May it be story-wise, may it be gameplay elements, may it be a certain visual art style. Because if you spend hundreds of millions of dollars in a development budget, you can't take risks. You have to make that game a commercial success. But the indie games can take that risk, and that's what makes them so great. So, Thanos, fantastic question here. Definitely. Appreciate it.
And they can't take those risks because they have to have a tried and tested thing where they've tested a method before, and they can't go into the uncharted territory, if you know what I mean. So it's a great answer, Boxenberger.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Stubbs Gaming, shout out to you, sends in a generous £2 super chat and says, why hasn't Indy mentioned Hollow Knight? Is he okay? Actually, the word Hollow Knight was mentioned earlier, and I'm just waiting for one of the two of us mention Hollow Knight Silksong as the most anticipated game. I have it on my list here, but I didn't want to take it away from Indy, so I think we will come to that.
I think so. Love it though. Stubbsy knows me well.
Yeah. And then we have John DJ with another $2. Thank you, brother. He asks, do you think we see Contraband this year? Honestly, I would be surprised if not. What do you think? That game from Avalanche got announced last year during the Xbox showcase.
So, do you think we'll see it as in a new trailer or information on it, or do they mean to think like a release? A release.
Yeah. At the beginning of the year, I was thinking, it could be a 2022 title, but the more we progress through 2022, I'm not so sure anymore. But I would be surprised if we don't see it at the E3 summer event, whatever it will be. Obviously not an E3 event. We need a proper name for that. The summer showcase, Xbox summer showcase. Last year when they announced it, they put out a statement that they already have been working for 3 years together on that game, Xbox and Avalanche.
Okay, cool.
So it was at least 3 years in development, if not longer, in 2021. So that makes it at least 4 years this year. So I think this is a realistic development window for a game to either be released or at least shown properly. So
Yeah, as they still have only just shown that concept trailer, or like as in just like the moving around the room. Is that the only trailer they've shown still? There's nothing else I've missed, is there?
No, nothing else, yeah.
Excuse me. So I mean, they need to show something maybe. I think they'll show something when they're about a year away maybe or so. So if it is coming next year, I think they will show something this summer, but I don't think it's going to come out this year in my opinion.
Yeah. We shall see. All right. Listen, another game I'm looking forward to is Stray. That little cat game, you know. I just love the look of it. It looks absolutely beautiful, and it looks like sometimes I need these calming games, you know. And Stray just looks so gorgeous, and I think this is gonna be a fun puzzle, kind of platformer puzzle type of game.
Bit of stealth in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's coming out later this year, whatever this means.
They've actually, I actually saw a leak for it. I don't know if you saw it, but it was saying that they've gone through. I think they've got going through their classification. So I think, as in, it's probably finished, and they're getting their rating of whatever that's going to be appropriate for people age-wise and stuff. I think so. I think it might be quite soon. I think it's going to be in the summer. I think it's going to happen. So it's not too
Who knows?
far.
Maybe we learn something on the big event on Saturday. I don't know.
Oh,
we shall see. We shall see.
Like
no, it's not an insider hint, by the way. No, Not that anyone is quoting me tomorrow.
That's it. I'm taking it for fact.
Just me hoping. Just me hoping. Yeah.
Nice. Getting the hype up.
Yeah. What else are you looking forward to this year, man?
Yeah. Okay. So let's please Stubbsy, shall we? He knows that
right.
it is my most anticipated game, so I might have to say I've obviously tried to push it away because I'm just trying to play it cool. But obviously, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song is definitely my most anticipated. I mean, it's not we're not guaranteed for this year by any means.
I mean, they said summer 2022.
Oh, they said at one point that there was a rumor for it. Yeah, I think Team Cherry actually haven't said a actual date. I don't believe, because they've just kept it as to be determined on. But there's been a few leaks which have come out, which were representations, I think, of the actual date. But unless you've got any other.
No, man, I'm sorry. I'm just looking here in my notes. I mixed that up with another one I want to bring up.
Okay,
Cuphead,
cool.
The Little Last Course, which is coming June 30th.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, love it. But I'll just quickly finish off with the Silk Song. Obviously, Hollow Knight is my favorite game of all time. It's everything. It's the best. If you haven't played a Hollow Knight, guys, make sure you do it and give it a chance over those first couple of hours, because some people do say, oh, it's not holding my hand in any way and I'm feeling a bit lost, but just carry on and you will fall more and more in love with it, and then you'll be under its spell essentially. But I've seen some memes going around, like there's first couple of hours of Hollow Knight and it says feeling lost and not really liking the game, then it says last whatever hours of Hollow Knight, and it says it's my favorite game of all time as like a meme, if you know what I mean. And that is so true though, because I think a lot of people experience the same thing. They're a bit like, what's going on at first, but it's done for that, for a reason. So you are exploring and you're not being handheld, and you're really truly getting that sense of exploration and discovery when you uncover the world, which is so well designed. Amazing boss fights, amazing art, amazing music, just on every level. It is a 10 out of 10 in my book. Hollow Knight, please play it, guys, and then come and chat with me about it, because I love chatting about it.
Man. I absolutely love Hollow Knight too. I played it because of your recommendation. You talked so passionate about the game, so I gave it a try. I actually played it on the Switch.
Awesome.
It wasn't out on Xbox at the time, and and it took me also 1 or 2 hours to actually get into that game, because it is brutally difficult. There's no denying that, but it is, and only very, very few challenging or hard games get that right. This game is never unfair to you.
That's
never.
Right.
I died hundreds of times playing that game, but I knew every time exactly why I died, what was my mistake. And I think this is something that almost no other really hard or challenging game gets properly right. There are a few other good examples, but this one is just brilliant. And the world design, the map design, the boss fights are fantastic. The music, Jesus, the music is good.
Yeah.
The mood it sets,
top level.
So good. Yeah,
definitely.
I love it. I can't wait for Silk Song. Yeah,
that's awesome. Awesome to hear that. Yeah, Silk Song is looking like it's, I don't know how, but I somehow was taking it up another notch, even though it's a 10 already for me. But it's
it's going to be 11 out of 10.
But it's looking stunning. There was quite a big chunk of gameplay put out a while back, and other than that, we haven't had anything for a while. And that's why all these every time there's a Nintendo Indie World, everyone is it's all over Twitter, and it starts trending and stuff, and everyone's like, Silk Song, get the clown face out, get the clown mask out, basically, because you're not going to get Silk Song today. But yeah, so many people are so excited for it, which is fantastic to see, because it's got a massive, great, really die-hard following, for the reason, I think, because it doesn't have in your face storytelling. It sort of makes you kind of really dive deep into the game to find out its charm and stuff, and then sometimes explore online as well with the lore and all that. So I think that then that brings the true like diehards into the fan base. But anyway, sorry, I'm talking too long.
Oh no, you're good, man. You're good. We are here to talk about indie games.
We
So
are.
please do not stop.
I have to check myself. Judzilla usually tells me he's shut up.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
man. Are you looking forward to Cuphead, the delicious last course?
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
I know it's
So,
DLC, so I don't know
Yeah.
whether it counts as my most anticipated indie game, but it is gonna be a standalone DLC. So
Yeah. I think it's going to
I'll-
be big. I think it'll be quite a
Yes.
chunk. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since it's been in development, and they said they are going to double down on almost everything. The boss fights are going to be bigger, apparently. They will also wanted to invest a little bit more in the actual levels.
Yep. Cool.
So
that'll be
yeah,
great.
be
Yeah, they've been
fantastic.
busy with. They've had the TV show doing all that stuff, haven't they, and stuff, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you check that out, but yeah, it's a shame. It has been quite a while, hasn't it? But that's think good things come to those who wait, as always.
True.
That's
True.
best way to think about indie games and stuff. I hate when people start going, oh, it's too long and all this sort of stuff. Patience is the key, I think. Of all games. It's gonna
especially
take
when you
time.
consider these small studios
Yes.
or even solo or duo developers. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Definitely.
no doubt. What else is on your list?
Well, so this time I might give a shout out to a lesser known maybe game, but once again, not necessarily something that is definitely coming this year, because as I say, it's often to be confirmed, and then we'll get it like more info as on the run up to release, so hoping it's this year. But it's a game called Harold Halibut. Doubt anyone's heard of that
never
one.
heard.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of using your awesome show like yours, maybe to get a name out for a game that hopefully people will check out. So yeah, Harold Halibut is basically like a handmade game via its. They make like real, actual characters and handmade characters, and then animate them through stop motion, and then they make like a small world built around it, and they animate it in that old sort of school style, which has so much charm. But yeah, Harold Halibut has loads of going on other than just what that element is to it. It's set like under the sea, where they've sort of had to form this civilization where they crash landed on a water planet, I think it was, or something, on some mission. So they've sort of started up this life around there, and they're trying to escape. But like I say, it's got this kind of vibe of underwater world where it's like BioShock vibes almost in the coloration of that. You can see like in the background there's underwater and stuff, which I really dig about it, of course.
That's
cool.
cool.
I love BioShock. And it's got some amazing lighting effects and amazing music. The trailer is so beautiful. I highly recommend checking out the Harold Halibut trailer. But yeah, like really cool storytelling by the way it seems, really interesting story, something that's completely different, and the true labor of love, that the way they're doing it all handmade, actually creating these actual characters out of whatever I think they might be using like clay and stuff like that, or whatever it is. But anyway, that's not my area of expertise, but they're basically making these things and then animating them in like puppeteer way sort of thing. And it's just beautiful. So check out Harold Halibut trailer. We haven't had much info on it for a while, but it's got a really interesting cinematic feel to it, cool voice acting, and like an interesting story. I think that's going to be a really cool game to tuck into in a story sense. Yeah, definitely recommend checking it out, guys.
Sounds great. I will definitely have a look at this after the show.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Good stuff.
Have you heard of a game called Flintlock?
I have, yes.
Yes. That's the new game from the makers of Ashen. They're
Yes.
called A44 Games. They said it's gonna release this year. It's an open world action RPG. And Ashen was not perfect, nowhere near, but there was so much potential, and it was their first game. And I think with this one, they they could actually nail it, because in its core, Ashen was a really good game, but it had just a few issues. So I can't wait to see what they are doing, where they will take the graphics, where they will take the gameplay mechanics with this one. They said it's gonna come later this year, and that was only a few weeks ago. So fingers crossed it will come out this year.
Definitely, that would be awesome. Yeah, a few other people I've heard talking about that game actually, that they're really excited for it. Yeah, definitely looks interesting. And Ashen, the developers that you might have something really cool up their sleeve for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So let's do another one. Maybe a last one from your side.
Okay, cool.
So that we can also get to a couple of the news of the week.
Yep, sounds good, buddy. Obviously, there's a never-ending list here, so it's whether I choose something.
We could easily fill 3 hours.
Exactly, we really could.
If you have 200 games on your
yeah, exactly.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, granted, some of them have actually come out, to be honest. But but yes, what one should I go for the final one? I mean, let's go for. Okay, let's just say one thing and then I'll go for another one if that makes sense. Just check out. Actually, no. What I'll do is. No, I'm gonna go for Somerville, if that's all right, my friend.
Of course, of course.
So yeah, there was rumors of Somerville coming out very soon, knocking about, as in like the end of April. But I don't think that's going to happen now. Yeah, that was circulating on a little cheeky bit of rumor, as I say. But yeah, we'll see if it might be quite soon. But anyway, Somerville, as you've probably seen, guys, is looking amazing. It's from the ex developer who made Inside and Limbo, who's now gone alone and set up another studio. It's Dino Patti. He's left Playdead and gone set up a new studio called Jump Ship, which is quite funny, I find, the actual name of it. Obviously, literally on the nose there, that he's left another studio, so he's jump shipped. Set up a new one, which is cool. Obviously, that wasn't the best. They didn't have a bit of a disagreement, let's say, I imagine, on something, and now they've gone their own ways. But yeah, Playdead are still making another game, by the way. But this is, like I say, Dino Patti and I think it's called Chris Olsen is the guy he set up with, who was already working on this game. And yeah, so it's looking awesome. Obviously, Somerville. Chris Olsen comes from like a film background, so he's done a lot more cinematic stuff, film stuff, and now he's doing a game, which is very interesting. Because what he said as well, this Chris Olsen, who essentially this is his baby. He's saying that he didn't want it to be a conventional type game, because originally it was actually a platformer, Somerville, but they actually took that away, and now they've gone 3D. So there's not really too many sort of typical game elements they're trying to get away from, if you see what I mean. They don't want to have platforming and standard stuff which you come across. They want it to just be a natural game where it evolves and stuff. Then you play it out. You don't want to have any gamified stuff, if that makes sense, where it really starts to feel like that. I think they're going for that cinematic feel. I think the game looks fantastic. Dino Patti, we're on board, being he's got amazing pedigree, with obviously Inside and Limbo behind him, and syncing up with a very talented person in Chris Olsen, who is got that background. I think the game looks wonderful. It's coming to Game Pass. Obviously, that's always a good thing to hear for, like I said again, Xbox fans. And I'm definitely not complaining about that, that's for sure. Hopefully I'll get it on the PC, otherwise I'll play that on the Xbox and Game Pass there. But yeah, no, Somerville, if you like Inside and stuff, it's got those vibes, but it is different. It's 3D, as I say, so you can explore the world in that way. But it looks like they're trying to escape from some sort of alien force. They're on the run by the look of things in the game, which I find very interesting. But yeah, I think it looks amazing. Cannot wait for Somerville. I'm sure that I might have stolen that one from you, because it might be on your list already.
It might have been, yeah. No, it was definitely was on there. Now Somerville. I think I've seen that also in chat a lot. I think Somerville is generally a highly anticipated game in the community. So great choice for the last one. Definitely. The last one I want to pick is a game called Occupy Mars. Have you heard of this?
I have, yes.
Yes, it's a survival game by Pyramid Games.
Nice.
It's of course on the Red Planet. You get to explore it and found a new colony over there. And I think this is the concept of that game sounds so unique, because they want to really focus on realism and unforgiving gameplay mechanics in a survival
Nice.
game when you build that colony. Of course, if you don't get that right, the game could turn out horrible. No doubt,
Yeah,
but
fair
I want to
enough.
give them the benefit of a doubt, and I think they could get it right because the concept itself sounds really, really good, and I can't wait to see how it actually will turn out.
Yeah, definitely. You like your
Definitely.
survivals, don't you? I think you like your strategy a bit and stuff like that, don't you? I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Sometimes I played one or two occasional real-time strategy
Yeah,
games and
yeah.
turn-based strategy games, and yeah,
Age of
no,
Empires and
yeah, Age of Empires, my most played game in 2021.
There you go. Yeah,
And could very well
nice.
be also my most played game this year. So
Yeah,
we don't know.
That's awesome. Yeah, actually, I just noticed Shizno in the chat is asking about Road 96. Hope you don't mind me just addressing it. I've played
Sure.
Road 96 on my channel. Really cool game, it's story elements, and it's got like branching narratives and stuff. Highly recommend checking it out. Shizno, there's a demo on my channel if you wanted to check that out as well. Obviously, that's not a plug. I apologize.
Absolutely. Again, the link to his channel is in the description of the show note. Makes it very easy for you. Just click in there, go over there, and check it out. I want to read a super chat from Drawn TJ, who sends in another generous $5, and he says, "Does a first-person game need a third-person camera mode or button?"
Nice.
It's a good. I didn't want to remove that question just yet. Sorry. It's a very good question. I've had that discussion a few months ago when we talked on I can't remember which podcast. Probably one of Boom's shows also.
Yeah.
We had the discussion in regard to Starfield because all the Bethesda games like Skyrim, Fallout, you have that option to switch in between first person and third person. And we were wondering whether Starfield is going to have that as well, and whether that should be a standard for games that you can actually choose in between. And I have probably the very unpopular opinion that I don't think the gamer should be able to choose in between
You
third
don't.
and first person. No, I don't.
No.
Here's why. It is a very different thing to design a world for a first-person perspective and a third-person perspective. And I have not seen a game that gets it right for both ways. One or the other always suffers, and at the end you kind of have to make compromises in your world design. So obviously, for instance, Skyrim was designed to be played in first person. That game is really not good in third person mode. And other games are designed for a third person view, and then the first person view isn't done right. Or you make horrible compromises, and none of them are great. So yeah, I think that's a fundamental design choice for a game, but it's a great question. I want to hear in chat. What do you think?
Question. Great question. Yeah, I actually totally agree. I was about to say, I think it shouldn't be a choice personally, because exactly what you said, like when they design, it's their vision of the game, how they want you to see it. For example, the cyberpunk thing, obviously that was talked about heavily, wasn't it? So I think I was always in the thinking of it should be, if they want it to be first person, it should be first person, and like that's how they want you to live that world through, and we want you to see the vision of the game in the way they have done it. Otherwise they would have different placements of things which become more like clear to you when you're looking like through drawers or something. It's a different way of designing, isn't it? Exactly what you were saying, really. I totally agree. It should be just down to the developer to design it in a way where you're going to experience it as they intend it. And it's like wishy-washy if you start putting different cameras in there. Exactly. Maybe certain games it works, obviously like Fortnite and stuff, it's a different story. I think there's a third person and a first person in that, isn't there?
You would have to ask someone else.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there might be. I don't play it. I promise. That's not me revealing that I play it. Yeah. No, but
just let's move on from our lack of knowledge about Fortnite. So I put a poll in chat. Please let us know. What do you guys think?
Love it. Oh, the
Yeah,
option three is irresistible.
yeah, absolutely. Who does not love mayo and fries? Come on.
Absolutely.
Uh,
That's my vote. Love
yeah.
it.
All right. I just leave that poll for a bit in the chat, and we get back to that. But I wanna take that as a perfect segue into our next topic, a little bit away from indie games. When we are talking about first person and third person games, probably a third person game has been announced this week, and that is coming from Amy Hennings, and it's going to be a Star Wars game. I don't know whether you have seen that news. This Amy Henning is the director of the first three Uncharted games. Yeah, and she
Nice.
moved on from obviously Naughty Dog to EA, and she worked there on a Star Wars game called Project Ragtag. Yeah, we had some very limited in-game scenes and shots were published from that game, and then EA just canceled the entire thing. It was supposed to be a third-person action-adventure game, and now her new studio, her new founded studio, by the way, independent studio now, yeah,
Nice.
has announced. The studio is called Skydance Media, by the way, and they have announced that they work with Lucas, of course, to get a Star Wars game out. It's gonna be the title has been described, and I want to quote now some things. Yeah, as it has been described as being a richly cinematic action adventure game that will tell an original Star Wars story. Henning said, and I quote her, "I've often described how seeing Star Wars in 1977 essentially rewired my 12-year-old brain, shaping my creative life and future indefinitely. Indelibly. Never heard that word.
Indelibly basically means really strongly, I think. Yeah, indelibly.
Okay. Never heard. See, now I learned something. She continues.
Well, you speak two languages, so you're already better than me.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know whether my English is really good, but I just roll with it. So
you're very good.
Thank you. I'm elated to be working with Lucasfilms again to tell interactive stories in this galaxy that I love. And the president of Lucasfilm, Douglas Rayleigh, said, "We couldn't be more thrilled to be working again with Amy. She and the Skydance New Media team have the talent and ambition to create a unique Star Wars adventure. Their vision for making inviting cinematic interactive entertainment makes this collaboration very exciting. We are working hard with their team of experienced and talented developers, and we are looking forward to sharing more with Star Wars fans when the time is right." So, yeah, that actually, being a big Star Wars fan, got me excited. And first of all, let me put out there, hallelujah, that we don't have to deal with EA only Star Wars games anymore. That the 10-year exclusive license deals is running out in 2023, and that's why we've seen so many different Star Wars games announced over the last year or so. And this one is now coming from Amy Henning. What are your thoughts? Are you excited for that game, or generally about EA not having the Star Wars license anymore?
Yeah, excuse me. I'm definitely excited about that factors. Yeah, like you say on the end there, because obviously EA were focusing, they're pushing, the microtransactions, all that sort of stuff. Their way they approach stuff is, I mean, they have improved, but it's not the best for the kind of genre that in the games that we want from these Star Wars games. For example, like Jedi Fallen Order, that kind of game is what we want to see. I
Yeah.
know that was still
Yeah.
associated with them, but they have. That's why I say they have been improving. But yeah, but this is great news. I think. I mean, I'm not like the most ginormous Star Wars fan. You have to put yourself on a scale with, because there are people out there who are literally, you know, humongous Star Wars fans. I do enjoy Star
Yeah.
Wars films, but yeah, I'm not the diehard essentially. But
Okay.
yeah, no, this sounds great. I mean, this is going to be like you say, it's coming from someone who's worked on the Uncharted games. They are, you know, fantastic story-driven games, aren't they? You know, and they're much loved games. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds fantastic. I mean, what is the rundown of what we actually know about the game? Is it just that they're kind of announcing they're working on it? Do we know? Did you say it was a third-person game? Was that right?
Third
Yep.
person original story
Original story.
in the Star Wars universe, and it's a richly cinematic
Nice, nice.
experience. So
Yes,
yeah, in
that
my
sounds like a
mind,
good way.
it's
Sorry.
Uncharted
Yeah,
in the Star
that's
Wars
true. Yeah, it does sound like the
universe.
blend of that, which is good. I think that sounds like a great direction. And,
Yeah,
you know, like having it as a original story as well, that is a good shout, I think, because when you try
yeah,
and tie in games to the movies, you know, exactly of the, you know, the timeline of the movie and everything, it can come up a bit short, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so when you have like a unique story, I think that tends to yield the best results. That's what I've noticed anyway. But yeah, I
yeah.
think it'll be
I
cool. I think
agree.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like they don't have to then think about so many things what they're tying in it
yeah.
correctly and stuff. They can
That's a
just be
fantastic
creative.
point. Pardon me for jumping in here real
No, no
quick, because
worries.
storytelling in movies and games is just significantly different. Yeah,
Yes.
you in a movie has to hold the attention of the viewer for 2 hours,
Yeah.
and it really has to. Okay, this happens, this happens, this happens. But a
Yep.
game is longer for, of course, obviously. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. More
Plus
drawn out.
it exactly, plus it needs to grab the in this case the player on a different level, because he has to interact with that story, even if it's a linear story based game. Yeah, you still kind of have to interact with that story. So the way how a story is told is just significantly different in between movies and games. And so yeah, fantastic point,
Definitely.
Emily, please continue.
Yeah, no, thanks very much, my friend. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it's definitely a different entity, and it's good they treat it that way. I think that will
Yeah.
yield the best results, as I say. So yeah, I mean, this is exciting, much more exciting for the diehard Star Wars fans. But I will be up for playing it if it's a good game. I'll be all over it. I'm not the kind of unconditional love kind of Star Wars fan where I'll just play anything Star Wars. If you see what I mean, if it looks good, I will be jumping in there.
We are different here. We are different here.
Yeah, I thought you might say that. So you'd literally play anything with Star Wars written on it, even
Yeah.
regardless. Yep, fair enough.
Watch, listen, read, basically everything.
Yeah, that's cool though. I respect that. You know, there's you know, for me it's like there's so many indie games I have to be searching for all the time, and I love doing that. But you know, it takes up a lot of the time, I guess, and that's my
Yeah.
passion. You know, Star Wars is awesome, and yeah, I enjoy diving into the films occasionally, but and I would definitely enjoy playing the game if it's something that's interesting me. And this sounds like it's definitely a good direction for Star Wars to bring me back into it. And
Yeah.
yeah, sounds like it could be a compelling game to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Uncharted series. I really enjoy those games. I
Yeah,
know they are linear. I know, uh, but they are just on a top level production quality, and they tell a great story. And so I really like them, and I want to see them see what Amy can do now with in a Star Wars universe. Of course, obviously, I automatically thought about, okay, where could they um, put that storyline. And you know, these
mm.
days I say Star Wars is the Mandalorian. I think
Hmm.
after the last trilogy, the movie trilogy, most diehard Star Wars fans consider the Mandalorian as to be the big thing in Star Wars right now.
Yep.
We haven't seen a proper Mandalorian game or any Mandalorian game yet. So
Yeah, it's
that
interesting. Yeah.
it's an interesting thought. No idea whether it's gonna happen with Amy Hennings, but the
Yeah.
great thing is we have now so many different Star Wars games coming in all kinds of genre. We have the
Exactly.
open world Ubisoft game. We know that Jedi Fallen Order is coming. We know that they are also working on a first-person shooter Star Wars game. We know a strategy game is coming. There, actually, now that we speak of that, would be a fantastic video
Yeah.
topic.
Nice.
Here.
There you go. Let's put that one down in the notes.
And yeah, that's just something exciting about this entire thing, and I can't wait to have a linear third-person action adventure with an original story alongside with the big Ubisoft open world Star Wars game and the real-time strategy game and so on. Yeah, it's gonna be great times. I'm just glad that EA isn't the only developer anymore for Star Wars, and that other studios, bigger and smaller ones, obviously, get a shot at the IP. So yeah, can't wait to see where this will end up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good chat with the Mandalorian. Maybe they could be taking it there. Is that what you were thinking? Possibly they'll go with that storyline as a sort of spin-off of that. Were you thinking, or potentially? Yeah, could be.
We don't know what the Ubisoft game will be. Maybe they will take that to the Mandalorian, or we shall see.
That's been popular. Yeah,
that's popular, and Ubisoft is probably gonna think about that because they want to have that. They have that big AAA budget.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it possibilities there. Possibilities.
Good times for Star Wars fans.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just taking some notes here, and then we move on to the next topic, man. I want to talk with you about advertisement in games.
Sure thing.
Last week, there was this Xbox patent about advertisements in free-to-play games. And this week, we got something else from the Sony side of things. And there was a report from BusinessInsider.com that they are working on something very similar about a concept for advertisement in games. The report claimed that the move is designed to incentivize developers to continue making free-to-play titles by giving them a way to monetize them. Yeah. It's claimed that Sony hasn't yet decided if they will take a cut out of the ad revenue that those developers will make, and that they could charge partners for data on consumer behavior in PlayStation games. Yeah, but this is tied together. So basically, when you are shopping for like indie games, you will see a lot of Steam advertisements in your game, and I will see probably a lot of Xbox advertisements. I don't know.
Sure. I know what you mean. Yeah. So you mean where they'll follow you to another site or something? Is that what the kind of ads they're talking about there?
That's what the report claims. Yeah. So the platform holder is apparently currently testing a software program that would allow developers to create in-game ads ahead of their planned introduction later this year. So it's apparently close to release. And I want to quote now from this article: the goal for the ads to appear like they are. Is that they appear like they are part of the game, like a digital billboard in a sports stadium, the report claims. The formats could include ads that give viewers rewards for watching ads and promotions for in-game items like an avatar or a skin or something. Yeah. So now I want to... Obviously, Microsoft is working on concepts for this. Now this report says Sony is doing the same. So I don't want to have here a discussion about PlayStation bad, Xbox good, or vice versa. No, I want to talk with you about this idea of of ads in games, because
Yep.
the first company that I thought would do it is EA, and EA
Yeah.
because here it would be really easy, because they have like the FIFA games and the Madden
Yeah.
games that you could easily make the advertisements in the stadium.
That's true.
But last year, and I only found that because I did a little research to prepare myself for this topic. EA actually denied all reports that they are planning to include in-game video ads in their console games. Period.
Right.
That was
Wow.
a very bold, definitive statement. So, Indy, we both like to play games. Do you want to see advertisements included in those games?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Definitely a bit of a strange one, isn't it? I mean, I feel like there's I mean, simple to say it, but I feel like if you're not paying for the game and it's a free to play game, for example,
Yeah, it's all reports, by the way, have been that it's all on Xbox, on PlayStation. It's only
paid.
For free to play.
It's only for free to play games.
It's
okay,
what
so
the rumors say. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, for me, I'm actually. You might be surprised to hear I'm actually accepting over that, to be honest, because you're not paying for the game, and I think it can work in those types of games if they integrate it in the right way. Not that I'm just being realistic, if you see what I mean. I would never want to see it in a game I've paid for, if you see what I mean. I would just not know if that. Imagine playing Hollow Knight or something really like that.
Yeah, exactly. Playing Hollow Knight and suddenly in the middle of the boss fight, ad break.
Exactly. That would just be so jarring.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like tonally as well, isn't it? Obviously they wouldn't do it in a boss fight, but it's even the tone of it. For example, you're playing these games which have got like a sort of like sort of somber tone or whatever, and then you've got like something that pops in maybe with just a completely contrasting, I don't know, trying to say you like energy drinks or something ridiculous like that, and they're coming at you with, I don't know, video ads which are like in your face, and it's just not going to work. I don't know how they're going to incorporate that anyway, but I don't think, like you say, this is what we're looking at is paid games. Otherwise I'd be very like shocked by that, actually. But yeah, I mean, like you said, with FIFA and stuff like that, I feel like it can be incorporated and integrated more seamlessly, because
I want to put a comment here from you in chat, which
Brilliant.
I think is a great one to discuss.
Nice.
He says, if the adverts are simply billboards in open world games or racing games, is it an issue? If anything, seeing a Coca-Cola billboard instead of a Fizzy Pop 2000 will be more realistic.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean by the seamlessness and how it's incorporated. I would agree with that. So yeah, if you're paying like Borderlands or something where it's quite, sort of, I don't know.
It takes you out of the world.
Yeah, exactly. If it fits in the world, that's exactly, yeah. If these things fit into the world in an organic way, then that's okay. And I don't think the developers are going to want to, have things which don't fit into the world. But yeah, like with free to play games, they are a different they're a different like type anyway. They're a different style of game, which usually would lend itself more to that sort of style of thing. They're quite like shooters, or they're like Fortnite style games, if you see what I mean, where that you can work things into those style games more. So in actual fact, I'm not adverse to it. In those free-to-play games, I feel like it's part of it. If you're getting the game for free, there has to be some sort of monetization in the game. They have to make their money somehow. So I'm being realistic to say, I feel like it's okay, as long as they incorporate it in a natural way. But I would never want to see a Coca-Cola advert in the middle of the Soul Master boss fight or something.
Yeah.
on Hollow Knight. But that's
the horror.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that's cool. That's just I think So I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, it's a good train of thought. I actually want to know from the chat as well. But I need to close the poll. We have still open for that to put out another one. So I'm gonna just close the last one, where I asked, should you be able to choose in between first or third person mode? And 47% said yes. only 21% said no, and 32% voted for mayo and fries is a must. So shout out to those 32%. Definitely. I'm
All
surprised that so
the thing
many.
is, all Mayo fans though are against it. So
Yeah.
they don't, they think it should be one way. That's just part of life, I think, mate. If you
Yeah.
enjoy mayo, you don't want two options. But yeah, no, that's
No,
interesting though. I think people like options, but the only problem is it can affect the overall game in a sense. That's the thing. I know people want the option there; they think, oh, it should be there. But then, if you do have the option, it might filter down and sort of take the strength away from the experience of being one or the other. Anyway, we're going back to that one. That's just my take on that.
good one, man. Good one. Yeah, so I just put out another poll. I want to hear from the community, of course. We have so many awesome people here in chat. By the way, guys, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. It would help the channel out. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys. Ads in free-to-play games, good? Yes, no? And of course, another third option. But yeah, the thing for me is you bring up a lot of great points. And in general, I do agree with you. In a free-to-play game where you don't pay anything, is it really bad to have an ad in the waiting room in the lobby while you wait for your Fortnite badge? Is that really an issue? You brought up a great point. Is it bad if you drive by a Coca-Cola billboard? No, probably not. And is there something bad about it if you have a free-to-play game and that solely relies, for instance, on cosmetics with microtransaction and their monetization model? Is it really bad for you then to watch an ad or have something maybe seamlessly integrated into the game? Not really. My problem with it is that it opens a door, and it never stops. And when we remember about a microtransaction, like the discussion, I remember that. I admit I'm an old dude, but
never.
In 2005, when we had that first microtransaction, that horse armor in Oblivion was the first microtransaction. There was a huge discussion, of course, going on. What's that? Why would anyone spend money for a for something cosmetic? And well, it doesn't hurt my experience. No, it didn't. But you see where it turned into, and there are microtransaction riddled games that really suffer from those microtransaction and monetization models. So opening up the doors for advertisement in games is something I'm not a fan of, because I agree with everything we said. And if I knew that the gaming industry would stop there, I wouldn't say anything. But thing is, that's the first step. The next step is you kind of have to watch an ad before you start your single player game, and then you get interrupted, or I don't know where this will end. It's just a general concern, because I don't know where the gaming industry will stop with ads in games.
Do you think though, with single player games, they're mostly paid games, aren't they? So do you think you think
exactly.
that it could filter across those? Is that what you're worried about?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I know that why would the gaming industry stop at free-to-play games? Look, if you buy a Blu-ray, for instance, today you have to skip through 3, 4, 5 commercials in the beginning. Yeah, you can skip them, but it's so annoying that you have to do it. If you go on Amazon Prime and you have that start the next episode of your series, you kind of have to watch that ad, and yes, you can skip it, but it's annoying that you do it. Netflix just announced today they are going to introduce ads. It's, of course, I know it's coming. Eventually, it is coming to my favorite entertainment medium, but I'm just not a fan of it. and so I don't want to open the door for them, and that's why I wouldn't want to see them in free-to-play games, because I know that they
Yeah.
won't stop there. They will eventually come to my beloved single player or paid games.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
you think once you've opened the door, the dam, or whatever, the dam's broken, then it's sort of
exactly.
come through. Yeah, interesting. I suppose they need to put down some rules on it. Maybe that they need to draw
Yeah.
up something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
interesting.
yeah, and I see the chat is also torn on this. I asked in chat, ads in free-to-play games, are they good? Some say yes, 50% said yes, 43% said no, and 7% went with the third option. I love ads for NFTs, because that's the other thing that is probably going to come with in the games, are NFTs, and can only get worse from here. So yeah, I'm just gonna close that poll for now. Thank you guys for voting and for the participation. Like I said, if they are done right and seamless and non-invasive in a free-to-play game, I have nothing against them. But my concern is that they won't stop there. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Let's move on to we are already 85 minutes into the show, and we have so many other topics we want to discuss, and we want to discuss some community questions at the end of the show. So I want to move over to a PlayStation topic here today, and that is God of War. I actually don't know. Have you played the God of War 2018 reboot?
I actually haven't, no, but now it's on
have not.
PC. I've been eyeing it up a lot, and I'm definitely going to be getting it on PC at some point. But yes, when I clear a little bit of space to be able to play it, if you see what I mean. But
you want to go through your 200 wish list of indie games first.
Exactly, yeah, that's the thing. It's just endless, but it does. Obviously, everyone knows how wonderful it is, and it does look awesome from my point of view as well. Definitely looking forward to try it out at some point. But yeah, it's good to see these PlayStation games coming out on PC though. In general, I want Returnal next.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, there has been the rumor this week that this is one of the games that will come this year to PC from the PlayStation.
That'd be awesome.
Games.
Yeah.
You are not missing out on anything.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard about this actually. Oh, you and my man Luke Steele, you've got a disagreement on that one. Luke's in love with it.
There. But shout out to Luke.
Yeah, shout out Luke, bro.
See, I always say that this, in general, with every discussion, I can absolutely respect different opinions. I mean, I think that makes up the best conversations. We both agree on everything. That's not a proper conversation. So disagreements are good. It's just the way how you handle it, and if you are being polite and respectful to the other opinion. So
definitely.
Yeah, God of War turned 4 years yesterday. So 4 years ago, that game was released, and I think it is generally considered as one of the best games of last generation, if not the best games for many. And Cory Barlog, obviously the game director, came out yesterday with a little video, and obviously he thanked everyone and talked about the 4-year anniversary, but then he also talked a little bit about the sequel. And I want to quote here now from Cory Barlog, the game director of the first one, directly. He said, speaking of God of War Ragnarok, the elephant in the room, we haven't said a lot about this. That's because everybody is heads down hard at work. We are perfectionists. Everyone's tightening up the graphics on level 3. There is so much going on right now that I just wish that we could share it with you, but it's not just ready to be shown. But I guarantee you, the very second that we have something that we are ready to share, we are going to share it, because we don't want to hold any of this back. So please hold tight, know that something cool is coming, and that everybody here at Santa Monica, is so incredibly thankful for all the support you've given us. Now, having heard that, well, obviously, the sequel is going to be fantastic. Yeah, I don't want to have that stupid DLC discussion that happened last week. I want to ask you the question: do you still think this game is going to come out this year?
That dropped a few days ago, that statement, was it? The one you just read?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I wouldn't say so. I think probably not. I think it might be early next year that it might be by the sounds of things. Although they are well versed in the game already. It's not their first of its type, so it is a tough one to call. Actually, have they got a actual locked-in targeted date that they're running for at the moment?
And they said it's a holiday 2020.
Holiday 2020, yeah.
So it's basically their
it's the window at the moment. Yeah. So so it's still a window. So that suggests that they didn't have a point when they were like, we're going to commit to the next step that we are confident for, if you see what I mean. So as in, say, November 29th or December 15th or whatever. So I think they were still in that stage, obviously, that they haven't committed further from that. So that's a stage which you could still fall back from, if you see what I mean, I think. So that I do think that potentially might slip into next year with that in mind. Which, again, I always believe, whatever the game, AAA or indie, if it needs more time, definitely take the time to make it, to its full potential. And, I only respect, especially AAAs, I'll just respect them more for doing that, because I know with AAAs they can get sort of pushed into by publishers and investors to get the money back to them and all that sort of stuff. That can be a lot of pressure for them, I think. So, I think if it needs it, definitely they should take it, obviously. But yeah, I think it could slip to early next year, maybe March or something like that. But what do I know, really? But, I'm just basing it on what I've heard there. Horizon, Forbidden West, that slipped, didn't it?
I mean, basically every Sony first-party game got delayed, every Sony first-party game of the last, I want to say, probably 2-3 years had a delay. And God of War officially had their first delay, but
I think the thing is as well is, sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on, Fred, my friend.
Oh yeah, the thing is about this delay that God of War Ragnarok already had. I don't think that was a real delay. I don't think that this game was originally intended to be a launch window title of the console, of the PS5. I think this was just a marketing move for
interesting
to get a hype up for the console. And it was always the plan to release that game in 2022. And so if that game would get a delay again into 23 or whenever, I think that would probably be the first real delay. I think
that's a very interesting point and very good point, actually. That's a great point. Yeah, with regards to the marketing side of things, that would make so much sense. That's a great observation, I think. I think you could be right on that. It's a huge game, isn't it? It's the flagship, isn't it? So
it's their flagship title. I mean, that I get why people say no, it's not gonna get delayed, because that would leave Sony for this holiday season empty without a major release from their first-party studios, at least so far. From what we know so far, I don't think that would be such a big deal. It seems like Sony hasn't really cared about the holiday season per se for their releases. A lot of their bigger games came out early in the year. The Last of Us was a June release. Ghost of Tsushima, July release. So I'm not sure if they kind of have to rely on that holiday window to have successful game releases. So I just do hope that they get the time they need.
Exactly.
If that's really the thing, because let's face it, we have so many games to play in this holiday season.
So true.
We talked about so many indie games, of course, but of course there will be big third-party published games like Gotham Knights is gonna come out. Hogwarts Legacy is gonna come. I'm blanking on a few, but this year, the fall season, we have enough third-party games, and with that, of course.
When's Redfall coming out? Does that go?
Redfall is an Xbox exclusive. It's still
not third. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So you're just
it's
talking third
officially.
party.
Yeah, I'm talking third party here because
Yep.
that what's what a PlayStation gamer. If you don't have both consoles, yeah, you have to rely on
Yes, of course.
Sony and third party. So that's why I'm taking out the Xbox IPs. We
Sorry,
have of
sorry.
course
Yeah.
Starfield coming, Redfall. There's stuff to play. Jay
Yeah,
says it right. Quality is most important. Shout
definitely.
out to
Yeah.
Jay here in chat.
Definitely great
Exactly.
shout. Shout out to
Yeah.
Jad, yeah, definitely. Yeah, so mate, if that's, I think everyone is in, in concert saying, they just want them to take them, the time they need to make the game as good as
Yeah.
it can be, because it is a game which has so much hype around it, so they will want to make
Exactly.
that absolutely the best, finest quality. I'm sure it will be.
Absolutely. Man, let's talk about probably the last news topic for the day. Just want to briefly take a note for the timestamps later.
So organized. Love it.
I don't know how other podcasters do it. Yeah, like pay
Yeah.
attention to the chat, pay attention to what the guests are saying, taking
Yeah.
notes.
Exactly.
And stuff. I don't know. My brain isn't just up for it, so I always have to. Okay,
Oh,
now
it's good that
timestamp here, 1
you're
hour 34
multitasking
minutes.
along the
Yeah.
way. That's so I do it after, and then that's a much worse way of doing it. If you know what I mean,
Yeah, it is.
scrubbing through. You know what I mean?
Okay, when did we start to talk about Star Wars?
Exactly.
I don't
Then
know.
you realise that you've talked about one topic for an hour, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what the?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to read a briefly a super chat coming in again from Drawn TJ. The generosity knows no limits here. $20. Thank you so much. Did you see the episode of Xbox Era where they interviewed Ed Fries or Fries? He said back in the day, Xbox almost owned Westwood Studios that makes Command and Conquer Command and Conquer. They also almost had Blizzard before Activision. I've seen that episode of Xbox Era, and that was very interesting. Ed Fries, he just talked and talked and talked and dropped so many little nuggets, and it's crazy to think what was already going on back in the days in terms of acquisitions, talks about IPs. So it is kind of weird that Xbox kind of took a break from that. I mean, back in those days, they acquired Rare and other studios, yeah, Lion King, Lionhead, pardon me.
Lion King, that would be.
Yeah, man.
Love it. Lionheart, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Lionheart. Sorry.
I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, it was an interesting time, and it's funny to see that some of it is now happening. Yeah, so man,
Definitely.
I want to talk about Xbox. Actually, Xbox in Japan, because one of the criticisms for the platform always was that Xbox isn't doing well over in Japan. They don't have enough Japanese-focused games. JRPGs are particularly missing. That has been a criticism, and Xbox talked a lot about, we want to do better, and they have. I mean, we have seen games like the Yakuza games, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and so on coming. Either day and date, close to launch, to Game Pass. We have seen Scarlet Nexus, for instance, coming to Game Pass only a few months after release, and just last week they particularly thanked the developers, thanked Game Pass. Because without them, they wouldn't have had the 2 million player mark hit. Stuff like that. We've seen Xbox has been doing a lot of things for Japanese games, but there's always to be done more. And yesterday, something interesting happened on Twitter, actually. Sometimes good stuff happens on Twitter. No, it's not just all console wars. Yeah.
Definitely.
Matt Smith, he's the lead producer at Xbox Publishing, and he said this on Twitter. My team at Xbox Publishing here in Japan is growing. We are working with top-class developers on truly groundbreaking products for Xbox. And then he continued that they have a lot of open positions, all located in Tokyo. And I went through that list. It's a long list. They are it's an insane amount of developers that they are hiring, from senior software engineers with Unreal experience to C++ programmers to game build engineers to build pipelines and tools and a lot of other people. Like I said, it was an extensive list. So that really shows you Xbox is hiring. They are actual developers that are going to work with the Xbox publishing arm in Japan, all located in Tokyo, on groundbreaking stuff. Indy, I want to hear from you. Does this make you excited for possible future Xbox Japanese games?
Yeah, it's definitely awesome. Obviously, the diversity in general is an element that's missing from the portfolio, essentially. So it's great to have that. Fresh experiences which aren't just all the same. It's good to have, like I say, the diversity. Some things that push the boundaries in different directions. Everyone relates to games in different ways, so it's good to have different options for people. And it's a very beloved genre, actually, the old JRPG. Shout out to Meisuko in the chat. I know he loves the genre very much. But yeah, a lot of people are really crying out for it on Xbox, so it is definitely exciting, and I really hope they have definitely made some ground up actually on it, and it'll be good to see them to continue down that route and fully flesh out that area of the gap in the portfolio, as I say. There's been some incredible franchises along the years. There's even been some good indie JRPGs recently, like Chris Tales and stuff like that. It's great to see them actually looking to really fully flesh out their whole range of games, because also it does help them not only for us as in European gamers, but it's also going to help the whole sort of like in the whole sort of worldwide audience as well. I think to really bring that up, because that's an area where they've kind of been a bit down on sales and in the Eastern market and stuff like that. So bringing more attention on and bringing more gaming from the JRPG genre into the Xbox ecosystem is definitely a good thing, and for everyone all round, really, I would definitely say.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think your first sentence hit the nail on the head. It's all about diversity. Even if some of these Japanese games are not for you, I just changed the gameplay here to Scarlet Nexus when you are on the
Pretty
topic
cool.
of JRPGs here.
Good stuff, yeah.
The thing is, it is. If we look at the Xbox brand, why are JRPG or Japanese-based publishers and developers not releasing that many games on the Xbox platform? It's not just because Xbox isn't really doing well over in Japan. Japanese developers know exactly that the Western market is also very much interested in their products in that kind of genre. So, is it really that a big a deal if Japan itself isn't the biggest console market for Xbox? Probably not. But the thing is that Xbox has lack of consistency when it comes to these publishing deals with Japanese developers. They have been doing really well in the 360 days, if you remember that. But then they kind of fell off. Yeah. And then they kind of fell off during the Xbox One days, and now they're coming back. And all this consistency stuff, of course, makes you wonder whether you should actually start to build your game for the Xbox platform, and that is an issue. Now, how can you solve that?
Catch-22, isn't it? Almost. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to say probably that if you've got the people, if it's doing well, they're going to want to jump on board, or if it's not doing so well, they're not going to want to jump on board. Is that, I think, But sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
Yeah, exactly. And now with this publishing arm actually hiring local developers, Xbox developers, to help build tools, to help get these Japanese developers on the platform, to work with the publishing arm together with those Japanese developers, not from the US, not from Europe, but from within Japan, from a
Yep.
studio based in Tokyo, where they can invite those developers into the meeting room, tell you, look, we are here to stay. This is our offices. These are the people you're going to work with. And they are going to help you to bring your games to the platform to make that happen. That is something that just shows you commitment. And I think this is a real important step about the real important step about this, because like I said, they lacked of consistency, but nothing helps you to show more commitment than to have actual Japanese Tokyo-based developers to work with Japanese-based developers on games. So yeah,
at the
stuff,
fundamental level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? I think growing them from the ground up, going to the organic level, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the
Exactly.
thing. It's like when you say like if the problem is if they're doing, the console's now doing really well. That's the good thing is, Xbox is doing fantastically well. So maybe these, the JRPGs, these developers and stuff like that out that way are going to potentially be taking note, and that's actually something they see as a sort of, how do I say? They can't resist basically, but to get on board really, because of the Xbox has proved itself recently as a platform that it's that people are crying out for. So it makes a lot of sense to just tie up those loose ends essentially and get them all linked up, and then it's best for both worlds of developers and the gamers at the end of the day. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, agree here. Yeah, so we shall see what will come out of this Xbox publishing-based Tokyo studio. But yeah, we said it many times. This generation is just gonna be different than the last one, and I would be surprised if we would still have that same story at the end of this generation, that Xbox is lacking of Japanese games on their platform. I think this will change over the course of this generation.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. I mean, I think we need to skip a few topics. The Sega reboot, Saints Row. There's so much we could talk and go on, but I want to go over to the community questions, because each and every Wednesday I put up on Twitter and on YouTube the question for you guys in the community to put questions up for us that we can answer, and I want to take the time to answer some of them. So that's why we move over to the community. Oh, I think I just hit that button a little too early.
I think you might have cut one of your words off. Questions we lost.
The questions we lost. Doesn't matter. You guys know what I mean.
Love it.
All right, guys. So many questions came in. I think, Indy, you must be some question magnet or something. Really, that's
better
awesome.
than being a babe magnet.
Yeah. At least for me as the host, definitely. All right. The first one I want to read is from the generous friend of the show, Drawn TJ. He asked over on YouTube, by the way, that's where most of the questions come in.
Nice.
People really like to put in the questions on the YouTube thread. That's
Nice.
awesome, by the way. Drawn TJ asks, can Microsoft approach a company and buy just the IP from another company? Let's say they go and tell EA, hey, we want Command & Conquer, name your price, and can they do that? So that's an interesting question, because we always just talk about Xbox buying this and who could Xbox buy next, and PlayStation, who's are they going to buy next and whatnot. The thing is, we rarely talk about IPs, but a lot of beloved IPs like Command & Conquer have been put to rest for years now. So could this happen, that Xbox will go out and spend a lot of money on certain IPs? What do you think?
So, as in, can they, is it possible for them to pick them up, or could it happen? As in, do I think it might happen, sort of thing? Sorry, I didn't quite catch.
I mean, his question was, can Microsoft do it and
Yeah.
approach? Yeah. So
Can they approach these old IPs and pick them up basically? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess. Well, yeah, they could. I think they can certainly do it. I guess it is whether they feel that it's gonna. They have to prove that it's going to work for them and stuff like that. You know, they're gonna have to. Something like, I mean, some old IPs aren't necessarily going to be revivable in the sense where they're gonna be they can make money essentially. We all have these fond memories of old IPs like Command and Conquer and stuff like that. I certainly do of that game. You know, it's just whether it's gonna be brought back to life, and is it still going to work in a different time and all that sort of stuff. Not speaking specifically about Command and Conquer right now. I'm just sort of saying other games where, you know, people have fond memories like Banjo Kazooie and stuff. That one's always talked about. Is that going to work though in these days? I mean, you see a lot of indie games which actually do these 3D platformers and do them pretty well. But you know, they are going with their passion, these indie developers, about games like that with the 3D platformers of that time, like the Banjo Kazooies and stuff. But you know, bringing back as a AAA franchise something like a Banjo Kazooie, you know, it's a bit of a different thing. I think obviously they own that IP, but yeah, the question was can they do it? What do you think about that, Boxenberg? Can they do that? How would you tackle it?
they definitely can. They have done it in the past.
Yeah.
Gears of War comes to mind.
Yes.
So yeah, of course they can do it. I think in the end it's always a question about the price, because if you already pay a lot of money just to get the rights to use that IP or own that IP, and you still have to pay for the entire development and marketing and publishing and everything. The question always will be: is it a business case, or can I just make a game with the same resources of an IP that I already own, that I don't have to pay the license fee from? So
yeah,
but in general, of course, they can do it. In the end, it's something similar like all these other licenses you have in video games, like the Marvel license, the Star Wars license we just talked about. All these are licensing and IP deals. So yeah, I definitely could see that happen. I want to move on and put out a question from Dan Darcy. He asks, what would really excite you that Xbox could show in their summer games presentation, and what would most disappoint you? So you want to go first?
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I was literally typing. I totally.
All good. I always get
sorry.
distracted.
Sorry.
Then let me go first here.
Yep. Lovely. Thank you. Sorry.
Type in the chat first. No problem. No problem. Yeah, what would really excite me to see? I mean, I don't want to say like Starfield, because we know that it's gonna be there. I wanna see what Fable looks like. That is something that would really get me excited. I want to see what those geniuses from Playground can make with a third-person action open world RPG. Yeah, I want to see that. What would really disappoint me is if Xbox continues to just show CGI trailers. Yeah, I want to see gameplay trailers. I think we are now in a point in time where we have had that big announcements of the games are coming for too long. They started to acquire studios in 2018, 19. All those studios haven't released a single game yet, and obviously outside of Double Fine. But that we are now in the point of time where we are waiting for 4 years for those games from those acquisitions, and now I want to see at least gameplay for them. So yeah, that would be the two things for me. What would get you excited and disappointed?
So at we're talking about an Xbox showcase in the summer. Is that what
Yes,
we're talking? Yeah.
exactly.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was just trying to recap because I didn't hear it because I was naughty typing. Anyways, yeah, I mean, what will get me excited? Yeah, I definitely like your point about the gameplay elements because like when you see just the CGI trailer and it's just that it's being developed, that's going to be 3 years at least away, don't you? That's the thing. When these obviously gameplay trailers, they really, you know what you're going to be playing. It's the real game itself, and you often in engine and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, gameplay trailers definitely are awesome to see. I mean, Stubbs in the chat put, I would love to see Hollow Knight, but if we're talking about an Xbox showcase, I doubt that's going to turn up on one of those. I mean, I would like to see Forza Motorsport 8 actually. Okay. If we're talking Xbox showcase, that would be cool to see. I do like my racing games. I'd like to see what they've done to it. Like they've done a lot of supposed changing things up, reinventing the wheel, no pun intended. But yeah, hopefully it's going to have a nice fresh look and something really engaging with regards to the career mode and stuff like that in the game. Because that'll be cool, keep us engaged, and hopefully just you see it and you think, oh, they've taken it up a notch. You know what I mean? It's really they've gone back to drawing board and it's so worth it. And hopefully it's not just the same, because it was not churned out, but it was the same over and over again, just tweaked in iterations from each Forza Motorsport. But yeah, I'd love to see them bring that to the forefront and it really just not blow people away. Essentially, it'd be cool to see.
That would be cool. What would disappoint you?
What would disappoint me? Yeah, I mean, let's think. So yeah, I mean, it would definitely disappoint me to see no indie representation at one of these Xbox showcases.
So no sizzle reel trailer provided at Xbox.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, actually, what they've done so well is Xbox always put these trailers of the indie games in full, like for example Tunic back in whenever it was first shown, that was a full trailer alongside the big AAA games, and I have a lot of respect for them for doing that. They put these games in full next to the big AAAs. They do the sizzle reel as well, which I love. I do love a good sizzle reel, but I love the way they actually give some of these games a real spotlight, like 12 minutes that had a full trailer. That sort of thing. We also had Way to the Woods. That game hasn't shown up again for a while. So Way to the Woods, I don't know if you remember, that was the one with the deer on you going on a journey. But yeah, seeing some more like features of like full length indie games on the show is what I love to see. And if it wasn't there, it's what I'd be talking about and be disappointed about if it wasn't there, essentially.
Good point. Another great question comes in from Nate Polis. He says, when do you think we are going to see Indiana Jones? That game from Machine Games?
Which is exciting, actually, because they're awesome in machine games, aren't they? I know you like them because obviously Wolfenstein. Not that I'm archetyping you because it's obviously Wolfenstein. As you would call it.
That's it. I got it. I always try to teach Boom about this.
Exactly. But it's an awesome game. I love it. And I know you love it as well. So, and what they've done, and it's interesting that they've come from that game. And now they're doing third person, isn't it, with Indiana Jones, if I'm not mistaken? So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But when do we think we'll see it? I think that might still be a bit of a way off. Maybe even 2 years away still, potentially, for the release. 24 potentially. Probably. Are you thinking that as well?
The rumors have been that they started to work on that game properly in early 2021. So the game is now for a good year or so in production, and that's probably just a little too early to be shown. Honestly, I would be surprised if we don't see Wolfenstein 3. We know that it's coming. It's to close out the trilogy, and it's been a while since they released Wolfenstein 2, so they must have done something in the last 5 years. So
exactly. So they must have two teams working. Obviously quite big teams.
So in my mind, it's basically like Wolfenstein is almost at the finish line, like final production, polishing, play testing, stuff like that. And during that phase, you don't need those concept artists. You don't need those concept
Yep.
programmers and so on. And they are working probably right now on the Indiana Jones game. And
Yes.
once Wolfenstein is done, they move the entire team over to full production
Got you.
of that.
Yeah.
That's just how it is in my mind. But
I think I
who
saw
am I?
some. Well, no, you are a lot, my friend. We should always believe what you say. But I think I see some screenshots or something on Twitter knocking around of Indiana Jones. I think I saw that.
Oh, yeah. But those
Yeah.
were actually not from Indiana Jones. I know that a
Okay.
lot of Xbox fans pull them out every once in a while.
I see.
They
Got
were
you.
concept arts for a for a certain Ubisoft game. I can't remember the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But do you think we're looking at sort of a Tomb Raider style game for this Indiana Jones? Is that what you think it'd be going in?
Yeah, that's what everyone thinks it is
Yeah.
going to be. But we know that Todd Howard is involved. You
Ah.
know? And
So-
what does Todd Howard do best?
Like RPG stuff, isn't it?
Like
Right,
RPGs,
so-
exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, might have some of that flavor then. Cool.
Yeah. All right. I've got quite a few Xbox questions actually. So here we go. From Pyro X, it's actually an Xbox critical question, and I love that. How do you feel about Xbox mainly releasing games only in the holiday season and not having anything for the earlier parts of the year? I want to hear your thoughts first.
Yep, no worries. I think that's a bit naive to do that, especially with Game Pass. They should be spreading them out. You know what I mean? If they get people involved on that, is seems a bit of a strange tactic to do that. The whole point of Game Pass is you're keeping people engaged all year round, so it would make a lot of sense to have releases spread out throughout the year. I think in general a lot more games don't tend to drop throughout the year. Maybe it's because I play a lot of indie games, so they tend to come out whenever they're done by the developer, if you see what I mean. So but I thought, the AAAs are getting a bit more spread out as well. If I'm not mistaken, you got like games coming out, like obviously like Elden Ring's come out at a bit of a strange time of year and all that sort of thing. But maybe Xbox, is that a fact? Would you agree that that's they do tend to come out in more of the winter season sort of thing? Is that...
Yeah, that's a great twist to the question you put there. I'm not sure if it's a general tactic of theirs, or if it's just things didn't come together the way they intended because of what happened over the last 2 years with the pandemic and everything. Maybe they had that plan to spread that content out a little bit more across the year, but then games were just finished, delayed, and then you end up in the holiday season. Because let's be honest here, 2021 was the first year where Xbox actually started to put out games, where we could actually talk about that. And we had almost all releases at the end of the year, or at least the second half, August, September, October, and November. That was definitely happening, and it's gonna happen this year again. Obviously, they are not having any first-party content until the fall. I know Redfall is still officially scheduled summer 2021 2, but it's April is almost over. We haven't seen anything from that game, not even an official screenshot or anything. So I highly doubt that it will come out within the next 2-3 months, which is then summer. So that will probably move to fall holiday season this year. And so then we had Stalker, was originally intended to come out in April.
That was delayed, wasn't it?
That was delayed into December, and now it's not even coming out in December anymore.
Scorn was delayed as well, isn't it?
Scorn was delayed. I just think bad things happened, and they didn't. It didn't end up the way Xbox originally intended. But I've also said, when I look at the roadmap, what's coming, what's actually coming, I think with this fall season we will have the last time that gap, that bridge, that cycle, because 2023 is going to be a juggernaut for Xbox. It's an insane year. The amount of games coming out next year is crazy, and honestly, I can't see them squeeze them all in the fall season. There will be, I think Xbox talked about that they want to have that every quarter, that big AAA release, and the months in between they want to spread with smaller releases or third-party deals, and that's the point in 2023 where we are. We will see those big AAAs every quarter and a couple of fillers in between. So
yeah, it's a really interesting topic actually.
yeah,
Like because I just saw like Triumphant Design in the chat said, how are they going to spread out unfinished games? And like in a sense, see, it's quite a good question in a way, because like if a developer finishes their game, they're probably going to want to get it out, but are they going to just hold it there for 6 months until they've got a slot free or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Quite,
so
yeah, like
yeah,
it's a bit of a weird one. Yeah, so I
mean,
think
I could see stuff like that happen eventually. But
exactly,
yeah,
but then again, like if it's big games, they want the return on investment or whatever from
Yeah.
people if they've put invest in there. But obviously, it's Xbox, and Microsoft. It might change things with regards to that. They can probably do a bit more with that. But yeah, like it's very interesting. Obviously, the only other thing I would add to that whole thing is, Xbox. You're thinking of. Or maybe I was thinking of first party there with that question, but at the same time, obviously you've got so many other games that are drop into Game Pass from these indie devs. I'm always shouting that, I apologize, but I just have to do it. There's so many games all year round, really.
Yeah,
So I never feel that, I never feel like there's not games dropping, is basically what I was just trying to say. So yeah, if you're playing those indies that are dropping, you will never notice a drought at any time of the year. That's all I'd say.
Yeah. That's a great point. It's not just all about the AAA releases. We have a lot of fantastic indie games coming. There's also other stuff coming to Game Pass. It's rumored Blake's Tale is going to launch in June in Game Pass, stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely fantastic question and definitely worth a conversation. Stubbs actually wrote in, what are indie gamers' most anticipated games of 2022? I think we covered that in the beginning of the show. So I want to, since we are already running overtime here, I want to pick one last question coming from Jonathan Smith. He asks, hey, is certain affinity poised to take over all multiplayer content from Halo if they have success with their upcoming new game mode, and basically leave 343 to the single player content? So first, have you played Halo? Yeah, you have played Halo.
Yes, I played Halo, but not much of it, if I'm honest. Okay. Yeah, I've played like the multiplayer, basically, strangely enough. I haven't even jumped into the campaign, funnily. But yeah, I don't know why I haven't really. I get into so many of these indies, obviously,
definitely,
and then I'm just
worth checking
I will.
Out.
Yeah, I will definitely.
But there's only so much time in the day. I know
it is true. Yeah, when like
so many games to play.
Yeah, and there's so many more indies than there are kind of AAAs, so it's just it never, especially on Steam. But yeah, like so was they asking, would Infinity Ward take over the multiplayer? Is that what it was?
Certain Affinity is they have announced that they are making multiplayer content in a certain mode. Right. It is heavily rumored that this is going to be a battle royale kind of mode. With a certain twist apparently to it, and that's gonna come out whenever, we don't know, but apparently they have been working for more than 2 years on that mode, on that particular mode.
Right.
And Certain Affinity has been a support studio for Halo multiplayer basically since the Bungie days. So for more than 50 years, they have worked on all Halo games on the multiplayer side of things, and the multiplayer is in criticism right now in the community because of its lack of content. So yeah, it's an interesting question whether the support studio can take over the lead in basically the multiplayer things of the game.
Yeah, I don't think that's such a bad idea. I think, it frees them more up to focus on the individual elements. That's not the first time that's happened. Obviously, in a game where they have separate teams for separate parts of the game, obviously they were, they liaise between teams, obviously. But yeah, they are very much different entities anyway, aren't they? So I think that can be an effective way of doing things, actually.
Yeah, 100%. It's no secret that I'm no fan of how 343 is handling Halo at the moment. I just think the studio is so completely mismanaged. It is sad to see, because Halo Infinite at its core is a great game. The gameplay mechanics itself are fantastic. I really enjoyed the campaign, also the story. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy the ending of the story and the twist they had. I actually thought that is a great idea, because it opens up for so much more content and to continue on what made Halo. It's I liked it, but there is no denying that they have problems within the studio. It feels like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. There's so much miscommunication. In January, Joseph Staten came out and said it's going to be the biggest year for Halo ever, and now we are getting 2 maps for season 2. That's it.
Yeah, it's not good.
I know. Yeah, and so since I know that at its core, Halo is a great game, and it's just mismanaged. I think that would be actually a good move to just take that multiplayer away from them, give it a certain affinity. If they nail it, they have that fantastic foundation to build upon. But if they can bring and make actual content in a cadence that is modern, like every 3 months we need a content drop, stuff like that, that would be cool, and it would give the time in 343 to fundamentally restructure that studio, because they are the biggest Xbox studios with the biggest budget, and they have one IP, which is also the most important IP Xbox has, and they completely mismanaged that. So 343 needs that break. Just restructure that entire studio, throughout the middle management, throughout the top management, exchange that build, reset that studio, and then in the meantime, let a certain affinity or someone else handle it. That is an interesting thought, and I wouldn't be against that, honestly.
I think that would be a good plan, definitely. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's a shame. I don't know, something's not pulled me into jumping into the campaign, really. Like I said, I did enjoy the multiplayer for a bit, and I don't know, I think it might be all this sort of like lukewarmness has gone around, if you know what I mean. It's been a bit of lukewarm reaction to it all. There's not really been like people going mad for it, and I don't know, like, it's strange, because I've really loved so much all of the other Halo games, and the campaigns are just amazing. They're epic, So
absolutely.
For whatever reason, I've just not.
And
felt
this one is
like
too.
It is good as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
It is
good
a great campaign, and I also like the multiplayer. I'm not hating on the game. I know people misquote me here many times. I'm definitely not. I really like the multiplayer. It feels great. The combat, the movement, everything. It's on point. It's just a lack of content. It's just a lack of content.
Sure.
And
that's what I've heard quite a bit.
Yeah. And if you have but the thing here is, you have the biggest studio, more than 500 people, and the biggest budget from any of the Xbox studios, and the most important IP, and you had 6 years to prepare yourself for a game that you advertise yourself as a continuous game, a live service game for 10 years. And then you just don't have content in the pipeline.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry.
Isn't it?
This is just there's no excuse. here, and it's obviously we've seen the stories. Someone in chat also said it. Triumph and Design said it. Halo problems were caused by Microsoft temporary work contract. He said, yeah, exactly. They hired a lot of externals. They had temporary contractors and so on. That's complete mismanagement, and that's what I mean. If you don't restructure that studio fundamentally and they exchange the heads, and I'm not just talking about the top level head that has to take the fall now. No, the problems are generated within the middle management in such a studio. You also have to take care of that. And you fundamentally have to restructure and reposition this studio. And then, because in its core, you can tell there are working great developers there. Yeah.
Yep.
The people, the gameplay designers, they are awesome. They have developed a fantastic feeling for a great Halo game. But it's just mismanaged, and if you don't do anything against it, 343 will just continue to, I don't know what they are doing right now, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, they're not. It's like they're not reading from the same book almost, isn't it? It seems like they're not all in it as like cohesive unit sort of thing. They need to be pulled together, really. But yeah, hopefully they can do that though, because I think they probably will. It's just that it's not had a great start out as it. I think over time, it's their long game is what they're planning on, so hopefully they can get back together and deliver something awesome down the line, over and over again for years to come. Hopefully that's what their plan was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what the plan was. So we shall see.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I want to first apologize to you because I went a little overtime here. I promise you I don't go over 2 hours, and now we are at 2:15, and with that, you're officially the longest World of Gaming episode.
That's
time
great.
Just flies, if you have awesome discussions and fantastic conversations. So thank you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. Let people know where they can find you, what you have are working on, what you have come up, and tell a little bit about your amazing YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you so much, my friend. It's been such a blast. You asked me to come on when you started the podcast, and I really, really wanted to just get on here straight away because I was absolutely honored that I was like one of your first who you asked. I couldn't believe it. But then, like I say, work got in the way. But yeah, now we've made it happen. It was as awesome as I thought it would be. Definitely one of my favorite people to hang out with for sure. And you've got this awesome channel going, and with the podcast added to your repertoire now, it's even more stronger. But yeah, I love all the content you do. I love your videos as well. They are super well put together. But my pleasure. Definitely awesome stuff. Thank you so much again for having me. It was awesome chatting some indie games and some other topics as well. Thank you so much to the chat who hung out with us. But yeah, if any of you don't know me, I do all indie content on my YouTube channel, and it would mean the world if you fancy dropping by sometime to chat some indie games with us over there. I have a podcast which we do about once a month at the moment. What I do is I tend to just post on Twitter when it's usually around the start of the month. But yeah, on Twitter, I could be found indie_gamer_01. So give me a follow over there if you want to keep up to date with when we're doing the podcast. But I'll also be dropping videos as well occasionally. Like I say, all indie content. So my YouTube channel is youtube.com/the indie gamer, all one word.
Or just click in the link.
Or click in the link because the legend.
There it is. Easy to find.
That is awesome.
Take notes here.
Much appreciated. Yeah, thank you for dropping that, my friend. Yeah, if you feel free to drop by, guys, because it would be awesome to see you. And we have some fun over there. Keep it quite chill, but we also like to recommend some cool indie games to check out. And I'd love to hear what you've been playing on the indie front as well. Basically drop on by. But thank you so much, everyone who's hung out with us. Thank you so much to Boxenberger, the legend, for having me. It's been such a blast. The legend
was my guest here today because you do have really, and I truly mean that, the best indie channel I know.
Thank you, my friend. It's very kind.
The entire channel just screams passion for indie games, and indie games bring such diverse and uniqueness to gaming, and that's why I highly recommend everyone to check his channel out. You won't be disappointed because there's so much fantastic and positive indie coverage over there. Highly recommended. Highly recommended.
So kind of you. Thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah.
It means the world.
And again, I want to remind everyone also for Saturday over on the Midweek Mix-Up channel from Wandering Dutch. The Community Indie Showcase 2022. Again, guys, 107 games are going to be showcased there. He has the biggest of the biggest names here. Aaron Greenberg is going to appear. Tons of other fantastic content creators and people from the industry going to be there. There will be giveaways. There will be 3 hours of gameplay from more than 100 games. So, yeah, highly recommended. Saturday, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. PST, or 8 p.m. Central Europe.
Nice.
But I also want to say a big thank you to everyone. I almost missed the last super chat. I want to
Nice.
I can never. I've missed occasionally one, and it bothers me because I really appreciate the generosity that people bring towards this channel and try to support a small channel like this. It truly means the world to me. So thank you for everyone who supported this channel, and thanks to Dronty J. He has dropped super chat after super chat. Can't thank him enough. He says, "For the love of God, Microsoft, go get Command and Conquer and save it from greedy EA." Yes, please, please. We need a new Command and Conquer done well. I absolutely agree. So, but also again, thanks everyone who hang out here with us in chat. You guys are awesome. Absolutely love the interactions here in the chat. Always positive discussions. You guys drive this channel and motivate me to do what I do here, and it means so much that you come out here to this podcast, hang with us, guys. It's always a blast. It's always a blast. Next week is gonna be a fun one, by the way. I'm going to have BitCloud Gaming guesting here. So yeah, that will be an interesting one because he's
awesome.
one of the best PlayStation focused content creators I know. Gonna be fantastic to chat with him.
That's a great guy.
Absolutely, he is. So, Indy, thanks again for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Thanks, everyone in chat for hanging here with us. And I see you guys next week. And don't forget to game on.
Yep.